Maggie Haberman of the New York Times just tweeted this. Trump is said to have minor symptoms. He was lethargic at the Bedminster fundraiser per an attendee. As of last night, officials were discussing treatment options as well as options for addressing the nation. Also reading a piece in the Daily Beast, Vicky Wardjoe, talking about some impromptu photo ops that he was taking with people, his trip to Bedminster. He did a round table and reportedly delivered a droplet spraying speech. He was interacting with people with knowledge that he was exposed.
David Ignatius, if that in fact bears out to be the case, which we've been receiving reports from Jonathan Lemire all morning, that the president obviously knew about Hope Hicks, knew she was positive, still went up to this fundraiser and still was in close quarters with many of his supporters. Even after knowing this, it really does show recklessness, not just politically, but also personally.
Joe, he had other people's health in his hands, as it were. And I think anybody who goes over these facts would ask, was the president behaving irresponsibly? He has tried to carry himself as if he's a kind of Superman that doesn't wear a mask, implies at every stop it's only the weak people who are worried about this. It's going to go away. It's not that big a deal. And now he's been brought low by it. You can try to manage and manipulate the news, but you know what? You can't manage the virus. The virus ended up being stronger than all these efforts to minimize it and say it was going away, and here it is. So I think that really does shape the way all of us are going to think about the remaining days of the campaign. It was said earlier, this is the October surprise. It is. This is the black swan that descends. You couldn't have imagined this, really, and here it is. And it's going to change, I think, how President Trump conducts himself. Imagine that he was on his way to Wisconsin, a state that's been really hard hit by COVID in recent weeks, and do a series of rallies in the places where the outbreak was worst, Green Bay, La Crosse. So as recently as yesterday, that was the news. Nobody from the White House was saying, oh, wait a minute, as they looked internally at what was happening to their own people. So these things are going to be rightly at the center of people's minds. Republicans, Democrats, Independents, as they think about what is now, as we've said, again, the big issue of campaign 2020, which is the pandemic.